Hello everyone. So in this SQL Server Architecture Part 2, we will discuss about it. So last we have discussed the query executor. The query executor it's execute the best plan and it's sent into the access method. So in the storage engine, today we will discuss about the storage engine in the part 2. In the storage engine there is a two part, buffer manager and the transactional manager. In the before going to the buffer manager and the transactional manager, we will see how the data is storing into the store engine. So the data management first. The work of the store engine is to store data in the storage systems like the disk or the SAM and retrieve the data when needed. How it's stored in the database and a type files available, data file and the extent. Basically, what is the data file and extent? Data file physically store data in the form of data pages, which each data page having a size of 8 KB. Here we can able to see each page have the size of 8 KB, forming the smallest storage unit in the SQL Server. Okay, these data pages are logically grouped to form extent. These 8 data pages, it's create one extent is equal to 8 pages. The total size of this extent is 64 KB. Per page is 8 KB. Okay, no object is assigned a page in the SQL Server. The maintenance of the object is done by a web extent. The page has section called the page header. Inside this page, what are the things are there? Page header with a size of 96 bytes, carrying the metadata information about the pages like page type, page number, size of the use space, size of free space, pointer to the next page and previous pages. So in the data, what are the things available? The primary file and the log file, and if it's necessary we can create the secondary file also. Okay, so let's come on the primary file. In the primary file, what the things present? Every database contain one primary file. This stores all the important data related to tables, views, triggers. In the primary file, this tables, views, triggers are present. An extension is MDF. It's notification, means identification used. And the secondary file may or may not contain multiple secondary files. This is optional and we can able to create this one. Extension is .ndf and the log file. In every data there is a two files, primary file, in the data file and the log file. In the data file is primary file and the secondary file. Secondary file is not necessary. In the log file contains the write head logs, and extension is .ldf used for transactional management. We will come later. In the transactional management, the log file will come. This is used to recover from any unwanted instance. So now we are coming over here, the access method. Here is the access method. After the query executor send a plan to the access method. Now the access method acts as a bridge between the query executor and the storage engine. Okay, each in simple word we can able to say query executor generates the execution plan. Query executor generates the execution plan, send it to the access method. Access method decide where that request should go. After that, what is the function of the access method? It decide where this request should go, either to the buffer manager or to the transactional manager. It depends on certain things. Access method does not execute the query, it only route the request to the correct component. How access method work? The first thing access method check is what type of the query it is. If it is a select query like the DDL command, then if the query is a select statement, update, not select, then it means to fetching some data. SQL Server only needs to read the data in the select statement. So the access method sends the request to buffer manager. If it is a select statement, if the user want to retrieve some data, some select command or anything, so it's sent to the buffer manager, this side. The buffer manager then checks if the data is already in the memory. If it is already in the memory, then return it quickly to the access method. Access method return it to the query executor, and then it return to the protocol layer, and then it return to the user. But if the data is not in the memory, read it from the data file or disk. But if it is not in a memory, then it should have to go through the data file or the disk to search it. Now this is a one select query. If it is not the select query, if you need to do some operations like DDL and DDM. Okay, DDM, if it is the query is insert, update and delete, then data is being modified. In this case, access method send that request to the transaction manager. Means here, if the user want to do some operations like insert, update or delete, then it's sent to this side. towards the left side, transactional manager. Okay, in the access method, send the request to the transaction manager. The transaction manager ensures asset property, transaction logging, data consistency, and record the changes in the transaction log. We will come down that how it modify or operate some changes like insert, update, delete, like that. Now we are coming over here. Access method, select statement, go this side, buffer manager. Non-select statement, go transactional manager. Okay. Now we are coming, if we are accepting that if it is a select command, then if go to the buffer manager, now we need to go through the buffer manager. What buffer manager do? Buffer manager is one of the most important component of the SQL Server storage engine. Okay. Main job to manage memory in the SQL Server, especially in the sorry, buffer pool. Buffer manager has three sections: plain cache, data cache, and the buffer pool. Buffer manager control how data and a query plans are stored and retrieved from memory. It mainly manages three important things. Buffer manager manages three important things: plain cache, data cache, and the buffer pool. We are coming one by one. First is the plain cache. What is in here in the top is the plain cache. Okay, the plain cache stores the execution plan of the query in the memory. Plain cache working in the two parts: existing query plan and first time cache plan. When a query run, SQL Server first check the plain cache. Okay, if the execution plan is already exist, then SQL Server reuse that plan. If it is already exist in the plain cache, then it's reuse it, give it to the buffer manager. Buffer manager give it to the access method, and the process is going on. This makes the query run faster because the SQL Server does not need to create a new plan. If it is using the first time cache plan, then if the query is running for the first time, the SQL Server does the following: it creates a new execution plan using the query optimizer. Then if the query is complex or frequently used, SQL Server stored that plain in the plain cache. It's stored in the plain cache first time. So when the next time same query runs, SQL Server can reuse that stored execution plans and improve the performance. Now here is the one method, plain cache, we have seen. Now the data parsing, buffer cache, and the data storage. Second one, buffer manager provide access to the data required. Below, the two approaches are possible depending upon whether the data exists in the data cache or not. Whether the in this data cache, it is the two method it's using to retrieve the data. What is the two methods are buffer cache, soft parsing, and one is data storage, hard parsing. What is the soft parsing? Soft parsing is the buffer manager first check the buffer cache in the memory to see if the required data is already available. If it is available, then it is found, then SQL Server use that data directly if it is found, if it is there. But if it is not there, then it's come to the data storage, hard parsing. What is the hard parsing? If the data is not in the memory, SQL Server read it from the disk. SQL Server need to go into the disk and load it into the buffer cache. Load into the buffer cache, fetching data from the memory in the faster than reading the data. It is a conclusion and improve the performance. So in the data cache, the two parts need to go through: soft parsing and the hard parsing. Now we are coming down. Dirty pages. What is the dirty pages? It is stored as a processing logic of the transactional managers. Dirty pages contain the transactional manager. When it come, we have discussed when it is a non-select command. When the user want to do some operations like select, update, delete, alter. So it's need to come over here, transactional manager. Transactional manager here is playing the role with the dirty pages. Now we will go through the transactional manager. Okay. Transaction manager is invoked when access method determine the query is a non-select statement. Inside the transaction manager, there is the three things working: log manager, lock manager, and execution process. How the process that transaction is executed. First we understand the log manager. Log manager, inside this transaction manager, this log manager is there. Log manager is what the function: keep a track of all the updated done in the system via logs in the transactional logs. And logs have log sequence. It gives the one number, log sequence number, with the transaction ID and data modification record. This is used for keeping tracking of the transactional command or the transactional rollback. Now next is coming the lock manager. During the transaction, the associated data in the storage is the lock state. Means what it do? It log that transaction. Process is handled by the lock manager. Process ensure data consistency and isolation. It is one of the part of the asset property. Now execution process. How the transaction execute. Log manager start logging and log manager log the associate data. Data copy is maintained in the buffer cache. It maintained in the buffer cache. Pages which stored the data is also known as the data pages. In the data pages, here's coming the two section. Okay, first we need to go through the checkpoint and the lazy writer. When the checkpoint come, the process run and mark all the pages from dirty pages to disk. Means from dirty pages it returned to the disk, but the page remain in the cache. Frequency is approximately one run per minute, but the page is first pushed to data page. First it pushed to the data pages of the log file from buffer pool. Okay, this is known as a write ahead logging. And in this way it send. And the lazy writer is an internal phenomenon of the SQL Server. As the dirty pages can remain in the memory, whatever the transactions have done, the dirty pages remain in the memory. When the SQL Server observes a huge load and buffer memory is needed for a new transaction, means when the huge load is here, it frees up the dirty pages from the cache. It's move this free space. It up means it's free of the dirty pages and keep into the data file. It depends on the LRU, means least whatever the transaction is not used currently, that the things it move from data cache to data file. Okay, so in this way the transaction is going on. And here is a simple summary. What are the things we gone through? The client servers architecture, shared memory, TCP IP and named pipes, then TDS come into the picture, then relational engines, command parsers, in that the syntactic, semantic and query tree, then optimizer, then query executor, then three types of files are there: primary file, secondary file and the log files, then storage engine, access method, what do, then buffer manager, transaction manager, then dirty pages, transaction manager, these are the things. So hope you understand the SQL Server architecture part 2. If you like the video, then please subscribe the DBA